Indian Council of Medical Research has been working on National Registry for Rare Diseases. While now this is being reported for lysosomal storage disorders, neuromuscular disorders, skeletal dysplasia, hematological disorders, inborn errors of metabolism and primary immunodeficiency disorders. And knowing the fact that around 70% of rare diseases are due to genetic mutations, recently an official circular was issued by ICMR that the research body, among other things, has proposed forming a task force to explore gene editing based therapeutic approaches to treat these illnesses, for the reason that most of the rare diseases are of genetic in origin. ICMR also has narrowed down on genetic diseases affecting the brain, muscles, ear disorders affecting the retina, cornea, heart diseases and blood disorders like thalassemia, sickle cell disease and hemophilia. It has also stressed on the disease like cancer, diabetes and lung diseases. The strategies proposed should have a possibility of translation into future human trials. While the Western world has made considerable strides with regard to gene therapy over the last 30 years, ICMR stated that drugs like Luxturna for retinitis pigmentosus is a condition which leads to breakdown of retinal cells in the eye and leads to slow vision, or Escata, which is a cell therapy for cancer, are currently still in a clinical trial phase. ICMR and other research bodies like Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, are all working aggressively tracking down the gene sequencing. Recently, CSIR has announced the launch of an ambitious project called IndiGen to sequence whole genomes of diverse ethnic Indian population to develop public health technology applications. Taking cognizance of situation, it was felt necessary to also frame the national guidelines and regulations to direct scientists and clinicians, including industry, regarding the procedures and requirements to be followed for performing gene therapy in India. Please refer to national guidelines for gene therapeutic products which have been released by ICMR. Coming to the drug regulation and or the Indian regulatory scenario, I would like to put forth to you the development and clinical trial scenario in India. Naturally, as compared to non-orphan drugs incur substantially less cost in clinical trial. But also, let me tell you, more money has to be pumped into the drug synthesis phase or the development phase. The advantages of conducting clinical trial on rare disease drugs or orphan drugs against conditional disease profile are varied, as it requires fewer patients against other chronic disease profile, thus expediting the regulatory approval process. Also, let me tell you that the Department of Pharmaceuticals, Government of India, has notified an order amending the Drug Price Control Order 2013. This is effective from January 3, 2019, which says the drugs for treating orphan diseases, as determined by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, will be exempted from price control. The 5-year window starts from the date when the manufacturer starts commercial marketing in India. So do we have any regulatory framework for the authorization of orphan drugs? Yes, we do have, and as I just said, it is the New Drugs and Clinical Trial Rule 2019. The features that have been built into this New Drugs and Clinical Trial Rules regarding orphan drugs are multifold. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization, the India's apex drug control agency or drug regulatory agency from which I hail, has the powers to dispense with the requirement of conducting expensive local clinical trials in the case of orphan drugs. The sponsor of the clinical trial of an orphan drug can request CDSCO, that is my organization, to expedite the review process for approval of such orphan drugs. And also, let me tell you, there is no application fee required to be paid for conducting a clinical trial of an orphan drug. This translates to several lakhs of rupees of saving for the industry, which is coming forward to do such clinical trials. In 2016, Stempeutics Research, a joint venture with Cipla Group, was granted limited approval for manufacturing and marketing of stem cell-based biological product for the treatment of Berger disease, a rare and severe disease affecting blood vessels of the legs. This has been approved by Drugs Controller General India and the product is being marketed. Though there are not much documented differences in the approval criteria for orphan drugs and non-orphan drugs, sponsors have to prove substantial evidence of effectiveness of the drug using adequate and well-controlled investigations. Although rare diseases may qualify for fast-track regulatory review and smaller safety dataset, regulatory approvals may also come with laborious risk evaluation and mitigation strategies requirement. This means that the drugs which are being approved on a fast-track basis do have a safety net. The companies still have to do the risk evaluation about the safety of their product and put in place risk mitigation plans. Rare diseases and orphan drugs have a significant competitive advantage being first in the market. The additional market exclusivity period long-term benefits to the sponsor or the manufacturer are well implied. The time from phase 2 to market is often shortened for orphan drugs due to shorter and smaller clinical trials, and CDSCO has been giving approvals on a fast-track basis. The Drugs Controller General has also waived off conducting clinical trial for certain orphan drugs and drugs indicated for conditions and diseases for which there is no therapy. This condition is applicable only if the orphan disease is already approved in the US and Europe. If the drug is a new molecular entity, it has to undergo full-blown clinical trial in the country. Apart from these measures taken by the Government of India, Ministry of Health and the drug regulatory authorities in India, we also have a provision called a personal license. And if the drug is not currently available in India, in the Indian market, they can be imported. And any applicant who desires to import such a drug will be given a clearance within 24 hours. And this is issued through an online process called the Form 12A process under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. Friends, let me tell you that rare diseases have to be focused upon and research is still forthcoming. For the past 30 years, as I have said in my previous talk, message that US FDA also has been fast-tracking drug approvals, but we still are far miles ahead behind in gene therapies and gene therapeutic products to prevent such rare disorders of genetic origin. But definitely, CDSCO and Government of India do want to fast-track products, medical products, as well as diagnostic kits, which will be used for rare diseases. This is what I want to put forth for this August gathering. And I also thank the Bulk Drug Manufacturers Association President who is here with us. In fact, it was he who has brought me here, saying that you have to put in your message from the Government of India. And they, as far as I understand, the Bulk Drug Manufacturers Association here is very strong. It is making rapid strides and has been manufacturing new drugs, not only for the domestic market, but also for export. They are fully quality compliant and have been exporting their drugs to US and highly regulated markets like European Union. If there is an exclusive licensing system and if any drug that has to be brought into the country is put forth to the Government of India, definitely I think the industry here is ready for marketing agreements to bring in those drugs and devices. I also have to immensely thank Dr. Ramaya for apprising me on the current status and the policies of the state government as well. And he is the architect of this group, bringing forth the ideas of having a rare disease registry so that people actually register themselves and the health regulators are aware that about the epidemiology, and drugs can be approved for these population on a fast-track basis. Thank you very much.